Muy buenas noches, queridos televidentes. Una vez más estoy aquí con ustedes trayendo el programa Diálogo Democrático. Good evening, friends of Diálogo Democratic Dialogue. Today, as you remember, we have our monthly show, which comes out the first Wednesday of each month at 7 p.m. through Manhattan Neighborhood Network and Channel 67. You know, this program is live. We do this for the benefit of all the people who contribute, the producers and also the guests. And the show is also goes on YouTube and Facebook and all that. So it's very interesting. Once again, as I said, that I'm honored to have the opportunity to bring to our communities education, different subjects. As you all know, that I am interested in furthering the awareness of our community. Make sure that the county of the New York County, which is Manhattan, unfortunately, we don't see this live on the Bronx, on Brooklyn, and so on, but they can do it on YouTube, as I said before. But anyway, making sure that we bring education, awareness, and everything that is positive to our communities. I am, my goal have always been that. Esta noche tenemos una invitada especial y ya la presentaré dentro de un momentito. But before that, I want to tell everybody that keep cool, because August is really a hot month. I want to make sure that everybody enjoys the program while, we are sitting home and making sure that everything is safe. So tonight I have the great joy and pleasure of having as my guest someone that I consider a friend, someone that I have known for many years, this acting Supreme Court Judge, Suzanne Adams. I have to call this Honorable Suzanne Adams. Everybody that has gone through the process of educating and getting a particular, such a fantastic profession, have to be called honorable first. Okay. So anyway, Suzanne is, as I said before, is an acting Supreme Court judge in the Court of New York. She has a broad education and background in justice, in the law, and this is why I am so glad to have her here. Hi, Suzanne, how you doing?
Good evening, Maria. It is truly an honor and privilege to be here this evening with you. Thank you so much for having me on the show this evening.
Okay, so today we have, we're going to be calling this program the knowledge about the court systems in New York, but we also can expand it because I think that it's similar systems in all other states. But really, we're going to concentrate right here in our area. So Susan, just give me a little brief. I don't want to read your bio, but it's something about you about personal education and and things like that. What makes you go into the law profession?
Well, I am so happy to be here this evening. My name is Suzanne Adams. I'm an acting Supreme Court judge in New York County. I went to public school on Long Island, and then I went to Penn State University and Hofstra Law School. For the first about 15 years of my career, I was the member of a minority and women-owned business in downtown Manhattan, where I was a litigator representing both plaintiffs and defendants in civil litigation. I also, in 2015, founded my own women-owned business. I was a judicial delegate for the Lexington Democratic Club and the vice president of the Lexington Democratic Club. Before my ascension to the bench, I was so proud to run the Upper East Side Eviction Intervention Services Clinic, which was a volunteer organization helping tenants facing serious housing issues. I helped many tenants avoid eviction, and in 2014, I was awarded a proclamation from the New York State Assembly for my work at the Eviction Intervention Services Clinic. I was elected to civil court in 2017. In 2018, I sat in the criminal court. And because of my holistic approach to bail and my use of alternatives to incarceration, I was one of the 6 judges chosen by the Office of Court Administration to sit in the family court in the 2019 brand new Raise the Age part. Raise the Age was legislation enacted by our Senate and Assembly in Albany to raise the age of criminality in New York from 16 to 18. So any child who is 16, 17, or 18 years old who has alleged to have been committed a crime is seen in family court. In 2020, I became an acting Supreme Court judge where I was in charge of the New York City Transit Authority part. And since 2022, I have been sitting in a general part where I oversee toxic tort cases such as asbestos. I handle all aspects of trials, medical malpractice, personal injury, motor vehicle accidents, and I am truly excited to be here this evening and answer any of the questions that you have. I would also like to share with your viewers a bit about my internship program.
Thank you. No,
okay, you're welcome.
So this is extremely interesting. Let me just start by I should know I have also invited other judges, for many years to talk about different issues. But one of the most important things that we should know that you just don't become a judge because you just said, I want to be a judge. So you have to go, you have to have a, experience as a lawyer. You have to know the communities that you are living or you're going to be serving. You're going to be, because that is a plan that was devised many years ago of having interviews. You have to apply to a panel to be able to be considered a candidate for that particular position. So now I like to, I can explain about the panel system in New York County because I am part of the county, the leadership of the Democratic Party, who is the base of what we are talking about right now. For those that don't know much about how this works, there is a judicial system, very tight, and I believe that in New York County is one of the more strict groups of people who are going to be recommending, interviewing, and then recommending people who are extremely qualified. When you are sitting right now as an acting Supreme, you have gone through the entire, system from the beginning until the end.
That's right, Maria.
The panel system that I'm speaking about right now is put together by the county because also all the parties have the same type of system, and then they contribute. Not all judges are Democrat or anything like that. It's just, it has to be by qualifications and recommendation by those panels. The panels are set up by groups of base organizations that work within a community, also by the colleges, the law schools, the university. They have someone sitting as members of that panel who are going to be doing the interview of the candidate. You have to be able to produce, not to produce, but just to show that there's something that you are going to be doing for the benefit, not just for yourself, but also for the communities that you're going to be sitting and dealing with. The panel comes out with recommendation by, let's say, this year, I believe we have 3 seats for New York County that have to be filled. And those people who are going to be candidates selected by that particular panel, as I said, are going to be then coming in front of the judicial, a judicial convention that's going to be put together by everybody that is elected as a judicial delegate to the convention, and alternate. It's not as easy as people think. And let me just also explain a little bit. When you go around with a petition, as we all do, it's a green petition or a white or pink, whatever, you select people and add a voting place. I mean, this is have to do with the Board of Election. You go to the booth. You vote for those people who you consider that are going to be good delegates for the convention in order for them to pick the candidate and then later the person who is going to be on the ballot on the November general election. Is that a mouthful or what? But it's really important that people take a look at who the delegates are going to be important areas. Sometimes there are seats that are only for a district, and then there are seats that are countywide, meaning that we are talking about right now your position to be able to be a fully elected Supreme Court justice has to be elected at that particular judicial convention that is going to be coming up soon. But anyway, I just wanted to make that explanation because it's really important. People sometimes they say, "Oh, I don't want to vote. I don't know who these people are." But we do have to do our due diligence. We need to find out who we are picking, and then those that we pick are going to be able to pick the right person for that particular position. So you have already reached that, period that you have already demonstrated that you are ready to be an official elected Supreme Court justice for New York, in New York. Okay, so now let's just to explain about the process, and now we're going to be able to speak about your experience as a civil court judge first, and then we move on to the other part. And I know that you have a lot of experience with young, students, young people. So I think that's very important for the people who listen to my program.
So anyone who is listening to your program this evening, Maria, is so lucky because of all of the wonderful knowledge and important information that you are broadcasting. As a civil court judge, I am now acting supreme. One of the things I am the most proud of is my internship program. I am part of the Sonia and Selena Sotomayor internship program, where every summer we take high school students, college students, and law students, and we really try to give them a pathway towards leadership. If any of the viewers watching know high school students, college students, law students, anyone who's interested in the judiciary, my email address is sadams1@nycourts.gov. I think my internship program is wonderful for all of your listeners, Maria, because many young people do not know about all the wonderful job opportunities there are at the courthouse. In addition to all of the wonderful lawyers and judges, we have titles for clerks, interpreters, court officers, as well as stenographers and court reporters. If you go to nycourts.gov and you look under the New York City metro area tab, it will show you all of the wonderful areas of employment at the courthouse. And it really gives young people an opportunity to see different careers. Something that I'm so proud to be doing for the past few years is being a mentor for the Franklin H. Williams Judicial Commission. In an effort to increase diversity in the judiciary, the Franklin Williams Commission implemented a judicial mentor program. This program mentors attorneys interested in becoming judges through appointments or the elected process. And we really are trying to increase diversity in the judiciary for minority candidates to ascend to the bench. As a judicial mentor, I provide guidance, support, and encouragement to the attorneys as they navigate the pathway to become a judge that Maria Luna just told you about. As a judicial mentor, I meet weekly with my mentees. I review their judicial applications, and I prepare them for the screening panel and the judicial interviewing process. What the commission tries to do is really be a pathway and a pipeline for minorities to the judiciary. And the Sonia and Selena Sotomayor program is just wonderful for all young people trying to build future leaders through mentorship and observation. And Maria, just last week, I was invited by the Richard Fiala Commission, which is the LGBTQ commission, to mentor an LGBTQ attorney on his pathway to the judiciary. The programs that I'm very interested in are also with regard to housing court. Recently, for the New York State Bar Association, I taped a free presentation to help small New York City business owners navigate the new legal landscape for small business commercial leases since the COVID-19 pandemic and the federal court cases ruling that this law may be unconstitutional. But really, I would like to encourage everyone to send your young people and students down to the courthouse so they can begin working with me. I would love to introduce them to the law because I just think the law is wonderful and I love it so. Just on Tuesday, I closed out the New York County Lawyers Association summer internship program at their new home down at 111 Broadway, as we recognized and celebrated all of our wonderful summer interns before they all go back to school.
Great. So they get credits also, right?
Yes.
Oh, fantastic.
And any law students, I have been working with the Black Law Students Association of New York Law School, and I will work with any law school. I've worked with Fordham, Cardoza, Brooklyn Law, so that the students can receive between 3 and 6 credits through working with me, mentoring with me, doing legal research and writing.
I am so glad to hear about that because you have mentioned before about this particular program that you have and that you have been supported for many years, but especially in a community trying to bring awareness and hope for young people that are coming from very poor economic classes, that we need to encourage them to continue going to a college, to look into different areas. It's not just, playing or hip hop music or dancing on the corner and things like that. That this is something that is going to project them for a great future, and also to contribute to our communities, because the more educated that our children and the young people are, the better that we will continue making sure that our society is not just New York, but every place. The better education that we have and the opportunities. And when you're talking about these jobs have security, these jobs have potential.
Yes.
Those jobs are really people that should be proud to say, I work on, within the court system doing this, that, and whatever. And I'm not just going for, other type of profession. I'm not knocking any other profession, but I think that the goal here with you and us is to make sure that we provide the opportunities for young people to continue education and then going into a profession that they are going to be able to live a decent, long time type of working conditions. And this is what we are looking for. Many years ago, when I was younger, people will say that, oh, you have to go around and have a job, don't stay on a place for a long time. Just go for you gain some experiences at doing that, but really fully making sure that you are a productive member of a particular society. You need to stay and to pick a profession that's going to mean something. And this is something that I'm very proud to hear, and that all of you, not just you as a judge, but everybody that's working within the court system, and that the other judges are also doing the same or something similar. When we talk about the civil court, there is a civil court, there's criminal court, there's Supreme Court, appellate court, and then the big Supreme Court of the land. The entry to the civil court, when you win, you are elected as a civil court judge. What are the very first things that you do?
I mean, well, as a civil court judge, the civil court judges handle things like name changes. If someone wants to change their name or change their gender on their legal papers, that is something the civil court would do. The civil court hears all cases that are $50,000 and less. In New York County, the civil court is located at 111 Center Street. At 111 Center Street, we also have small claims court, which hears cases that are $5,000 and less. Most people in small claims court represent themselves. At 111 Center Street, we also have the New York City Housing Court. And Maria, what's interesting about that court is those judges are not elected. Housing court judges are appointed by the mayor. And a few years ago, the city council did something wonderful. The city council made legislation so that all people in housing court would be entitled to a free lawyer. There are some income restrictions. A family of one, if you make $29,000 or less, you're entitled to a free attorney. If you are a family of four earning $60,000 or less, you are entitled to a free attorney. And in housing court, I think many people's first interaction with the court system is through small claims court, cases less than $50,000, or through the housing court. Tenants may be sued by their landlords for non-payment of rent, and those are called non-payment cases. For those cases, New York City residents are entitled to a free lawyer. Tenants are also entitled to a free lawyer in something that's called a holdover proceeding. And a holdover proceeding is when the owner of the property starts an eviction case against the tenant for different reasons. And one of the things I do in my internship program is if I think that the students can learn something more interesting on a certain day, I will have them go sit in housing court to observe. I will also have them go sit in family court to observe, because a lot of young people have heard of family court and they understand custody, visitation, and orders of protection. So the first thing you do is go to civil court. Many of the civil court judges, like myself, were assigned to criminal court. Criminal court in Manhattan is located at 100 Center Street. What you do in criminal court are arraignments. An arraignment is a proceeding where someone has been arrested and handcuffed and taken to the police station after the district attorney draws up the allegations against that person. The law states that those allegations must be publicly read against the alleged accused person. Misdemeanors are crimes that carry 1 year of jail or less, and felonies are crimes that carry 1 year of jail or more. In New York State, we do not have the death penalty. And Maria, what a lot of people don't know is that the criminal court is open 365 days a year from 9 a.m. to 1 a.m. daily. There are two shifts, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and 5 p.m. to 1 a.m. Anyone who has been arrested and alleged to have committed a crime must have the charges publicly read against them. And as you have heard, what is called your Miranda rights, you have the right to remain silent. You have the right to free counsel. Counsel is the word for lawyer. If you cannot afford a lawyer will be appointed for you, meaning given to you. And anything you say can and will be used against you. And during that proceeding, the district attorney's office presents the alleged charges, and the Legal Aid Society or the Harlem Defender Services or the Neighborhood Defender Services provide free legal representation for the accused person. We have a court reporter there who's capturing the entire verbal record, and then the judge makes the determination about whether that person will be released, which is called released on their own recognizance, whether that person will be released under supervision, if the person will be given bail, or if the person will be remanded. And I think that it's very important for people to understand that most misdemeanor cases are held in lower criminal, and most felony cases are heard in supreme criminal. So if you intern for me, you can do that too.
Great. That is important. Okay, so now let me just take a little brief. We're going to stay right here because I'm going to do a little summary in Spanish of everything that you have, giving us right now. And the important thing about this is that a lot of people, we are already in this, in this city. Most people are bilingual, but at least I want to make sure that people in Spanish understand what you just gave us information. Primero que todo, la juez que está activa en la Corte Suprema tiene una gran proyecto, un plan de trabajo para educar a los jóvenes que tienen interés en trabajar y educarse bajo el sistema legal o para un sistema legal en el futuro. Todos sabemos quién es Sonia Sotomayor, la primer puertorriqueña latina que fue nombrada a la Suprema, electa a la Suprema Corte Federal, que es la que los 9 grandes jueces en Washington. Esa es la corte más grande que tenemos en esta nación. Sonia Sotomayor es una gran líder hispana, como hemos dicho, y ella una de las ideas que siempre ha prometido que pedirle a los jueces que trabajan dentro del sistema judicial que le den oportunidades de educación a los jóvenes, porque no solamente es para una profesión, sino una profesión para el futuro y que pueden ellos ser de beneficio para nuestra sociedad. En la corte de la jueza Suzanne Adams, ella tiene ese programa y está invitando a todos los jóvenes que tengan interés en participar de ese. Cuando hablamos de scholarship y situaciones así, cuando estamos en las escuelas y muchas personas no entienden bien lo que quiere eso decir. Esas son oportunidades que le dan gratis. Los estudiantes reciben créditos para el futuro y ella es mentora de muchos estudiantes que han continuado y que ahora todavía están siendo estudiantes. Me dice que el martes pasado fue la graduación de un grupo de esos jóvenes que ella ha tenido bajo su control y bajo su educación. Una de las cosas también que nos habla acerca de la Corte Civil. Y yo me pasé muchos años trabajando y ayudando a personas, llevando a personas a la Corte de Housing, porque uno de los crímenes grandes que tenemos aquí en esta ciudad es el abuso que hay contra los inquilinos. Y no vamos a decir que todos los inquilinos son buenos, pero la mayoría estamos sufriendo una crisis de vivienda. La Corte Civil, ella nos dice que tiene oportunidades si una persona quiere cambiarse el nombre, el apellido, ha tenido algún problema en un documento legal, tiene la oportunidad de ir en frente de su corte, y ese es un proceso bien corto, se llena una aplicación, se hace una investigación y la persona entonces se le cambia el nombre o la fecha de nacimiento apropiada, lo que sea, porque muchos cometemos errores cuando llenamos esas aplicaciones. Otra de las cosas que nos dice la Corte Civil es de los crímenes menores, que son las personas que son arrestadas por que no, déjame ver si puedo traducir felony, que son esos delitos que cuestan más de 1 año la sentencia va a ser de 1 año para arriba, y hay otros crímenes que son los pequeños, que son menos de 1 año. Esas litigaciones se hacen bien fácil, y esa es una cosa de que la gente no debe tener temor a ir a una corte ya para litigar y conseguir que se le dé justicia cuando se necesita. So anyway, Suzanne, Honorable Suzanne, let's talk a little bit now about the, I forgot to mention something. Las personas que son arrestadas tienen la obligación y tienen el derecho de tener justicia en esta forma. Uno no puede hablar si no tiene un abogado presente. El sistema Miranda, que es el sistema de que una persona tiene que protegerse, no pueden acusar sin conocer sus derechos. Siempre se les da un abogado gratis si no lo pueden pagar, y esos abogados va el sistema legal de aquí gratis y está disponible para todos. También tenemos que recordar que uno no se debe intimidar, a menos que no sea un crimen grande, porque hay recursos necesarios para las personas pobres. So I think that I summarized, briefly about what you mentioned about the civil court. Would you like to then move on to criminal courts, or you already mentioned about the criminal court system?
How about we talk about family court? Because I think
family court is important.
I think that family court is super important for people to understand that if you have a child or if you have any sort of relationship, you go to the family court. If you are not married and you have a custody visitation or other family offense situation, you would go to the family court, which is located at Lafayette Street. Custody is for the parent who has sole physical and decision-making for the child. Visitation is for the non-custodial parent to be able to come and visit with the child. Child support is where both parties present their pay stubs and their tax returns to the magistrate in family court, who uses a mathematical formula to determine how much a parent must pay in child support. Now, if you or any of your loved ones are in a dangerous situation or in a domestic violence situation, you may go to the New York County Family Court to obtain a temporary order of protection on an ex parte basis. Ex parte means on one side, just alone. If you have been in a situation where someone is harassing you, where someone is menacing you, where someone is assaulting you or hurting you or stalking you, you are entitled to an order of protection. If the abuse is so bad, you should call 911 and that person will be arrested, and that person you will get a criminal court order of protection against. After you get the temporary order of protection, there is a hearing to determine for how long a period of time that person will need to stay away from you. And Maria, many questions that I get when I'm out in the community involve people who have orders of protection, and the person has not hit them, but has come over to their house and kicked in their door, who has done property damage to their bicycle, or who stalks them or yells at them. If you have an order of protection, those type of behaviors are strictly prohibited, and you should call 911 and the police will arrest that person. And it's very important for people to know you do not need to be legally married to obtain an order of protection. It just needs to be someone who is a blood family member or someone who you have been in an intimate relationship with. And Maria, intimate relationship does not necessarily mean a sexual relationship. An intimate relationship can be someone like a good friend who you've lived with for many years, or you have a long, close relationship with. So I want everyone to understand that when you go to the family court for help, you will not need a lawyer. If you make less than $38,000 a year, a lawyer will be appointed for you, and the help desk there will help you fill out the papers to make sure that you're getting the correct paperwork and the protection that you need. Domestic violence is very serious, and at the Unified Court System, we want to make sure to give everyone a full and fair opportunity to be protected as well as to be heard.
Let me just ask you about that, because I've been familiar with cases about order of protection. A lot of people are really concerned when I'm looking about the protection against, for a child or anything like that. But there is a lot of seniors that are under the care of some relatives. They have someone that's been appointed to take care of them. Are they being abused? Recently, someone called me and says, this person is going through this because the person who was appointed to handle their daily life and things like that was a relative was abusing her. She was like on the late 90s, and the whole thing. It was a bizarre thing. So that particular case fall into this system as opposed to like the child protection of the child and things like marital things. And how do we handle something like that? Because refer them to someone, a home attendant. The person didn't have a home attendant because that particular relative was appointed, was given the job as a home attendant also.
Yes,
so it's
through
like
Medicaid.
It was very dangerous. So how do we handle something like that?
Okay. In this situation where the child has been appointed to care for the senior through Medicare or Medicaid, the best thing to do is to go to 60 Center Street to the Supreme Court and tell the help desk that you want to file a petition to change the guardian. This way, a public person who's an administrator can be appointed to make sure that family member is treating the senior citizen correctly. You will also be able to get an order of protection against that family member, and that would be called a family order of protection, where that family member could still see the senior, but if that family member acted in a harassing, menacing, or abusive manner, the police could be called and that person would be arrested. So we have many services here for seniors.
All right. That particular situation that I'm speaking about, it was someone that knew the situation. It wasn't, part of the family. And
that's okay. That person can go to 60 Center Street.
Yeah, but what happened is that sometimes people don't want to get involved. They've said they know what the situation is happening, and it grows and it develops into something extremely serious. And then also the person who you're trying to protect is scared of the relative that is involved in this type of thing. So, we did what you mentioned that should have been done, and unfortunately, the situation was corrected as of now. But it is extremely concerning that people are afraid because the retaliation that could happen if someone is being accused of doing something, that's really criminal and illegal.
Yes, and Maria, I used to see that all of the time in family court. Women in their 80s and 90s coming in who were being abused by their children. And in those cases, I would give that person what's called a stay away order, an order from the court that says that child must stay away from the home and the person and the place of worship of their parent.
And there's another situation that is happening, especially in communities of color or some immigrants, about people who are abusing a woman for whatever reason. They want to continue controlling, and they are accusing, well, you don't have a document. You're undocumented. You have, I'm
That's
going
a great question.
That is something that is happening. Oh my God.
In New York County, everyone, please hear me. In New York County, you are never asked your immigration status. In New York County, you come to us and we will help you. It does not matter if you have papers. It does not matter what your immigration status is. The unified court system in New York County will help you, and we want to help you. So, don't be scared. And if you come to the courthouse and you don't speak English, we will get an interpreter and a translator for you. And Maria, that's one of the reasons I went into this business. People are very scared. And I'm hoping that when they see me, I can put them at ease and make them feel that they are going to be treated fairly and kindly.
And this is why my urge is to make sure that we do elect judges that are sensitive to all these issues and all these problems that we see in a daily basis. This is nothing that is just happening once every, whatever. This is happening every day.
Yes.
I work within, the senior centers. I'm in the board of many of the senior centers. And you have to know so many stories that we hear about the plight of the seniors and how they are dealing with some situations about abusing, because although the abuse doesn't have to be physical abuse, but it's verbal.
You are absolutely right.
And things like that. I see people sometimes with home attendants, which I consider as an abuse, and my sister, Juana, if you know her, I say, don't get involved. I say, but I have to. If I see a home attendant that is, walking with someone on the street, and they push, they pushing them to walk faster, that they know that this person is unable to, to do that, and they are on the cell phone. That's abuse. I consider that, abusive. And God only knows if they do that on the street. God only knows what's happening when they are, where they're home. And this is one of the things that I'm really concerned about. Also trying to diversity to the court system, so everybody. You don't have to be just 75. Oh, you don't have to be. Once you are 70, you have to step down or move to something else. But I mean, people who live and see things like this that are your experience, especially now in the family court area, that makes me, hopeful that things will change and the people will be protected, those that are, come in front of you. So I think it's extremely important that what you are giving us. One thing that when you mentioned about the assisting translation and also providing lawyers, legal services, one of the things that we need to make sure that they put on the budget, the city budget, the state budget, more money to help out to increasing services for legal aid, to make sure that we have enough lawyers that can deal with situations such as the one that you face. Because as you said, you don't have to have a lawyer, but it would be better if you do have that, already the paperwork and everything taken care of before they go in front of you.
Yes. And I could not agree with you more. And I am proud to say that many of the clerks at the help desk are bilingual. They will help you speak in English or in Spanish. And we have full-time Spanish interpreters in all of the courthouses.
Another question that going back to, many years ago, I was involved in the process of having a course set up here on the Upper part of Manhattan. So people didn't have to go down to 60 Central, 111 Central Street and things like that. And also you have night court.
Yes.
And also that have to it. Okay, so 116th Street is the courthouse that we have in Manhattan. And I'm glad that I was part of that, that negotiation, trying to get that building set up so people didn't have to go downtown. The same thing, if you had to go to the district attorney's office, now we have a local office here in the open, area, so people don't have to travel and, and get, more scared than you are when, you have to go and attend a court's, process.
Yes. Maria,
so
any of
do you do that court?
I had done the Midtown Community Court for a while, which was a mental health court and an alternatives to incarceration court. And we also have the Harlem Community Court. Something that I wanted your viewers to know is if they are in an abusive situation, the day of their court appearance, if they are frightened of their attacker, once they get to the courthouse, they should speak to the court officers and tell the court officers that they want to go to the safe haven room. The safe haven room is a room for survivors of domestic abuse and violence. And then when your court case is ready to be called, a uniformed court officer will escort you to the courtroom. They will also sit with you after the court appearance for up to 2 hours to make sure that your alleged accuser or attacker has left the building in the neighborhood. We do not want anyone to be scared to come to court.
Let me say that in Spanish. Una de las grandes ideas que tiene el sistema judicial, que si una persona ha sido abusada, intimidada por otra persona que ha tenido una relación, cualquier clase de relación, y tiene que ir a la corte, que no se intimiden con ir, que tengan miedo, porque pueden pedir auxilio para ser llevada a una habitación, a una área de protección, que es como se llama cielo seguro, voy a traducirlo así, literalmente, para que sean protegidas y no deben continuar sufriendo esos abusos criminales de la otra pareja. No tiene que ser hombre o puede ser cualquier relación que tengan. Y eso es algo que los protege y para ver si pueden continuar eliminando este sistema abusivo que casi siempre abusan más de las mujeres que de los hombres. Let me just ask you, what is the percentage? Do you have any percentage of the abuses? Because I know men have been abused also. This is no one-way, one-way street, right?
That's correct, Maria. That's correct.
There are men that have been abused, and so I mean, it's the same type of system, but it's not as common, or maybe.
And I think that sometimes, I'm not an expert in this, but I think that sometimes men are more embarrassed to come forward.
Right. Okay, good.
And another thing that I want to mention that we've really tried to do, if you take any kind of medicine, in my courtroom, I have a small refrigerator. So if you come and you have medicine for diabetes, or if you are pumping and you have breast milk, we try to make the courtroom a place where you can use our refrigerator, you can use our microwave, anything that would make it easier for you to come to court.
Okay. La juez nos dice que en su oficina, en su área de trabajo, tienen medicinas, asistencia médica en el sentido que si tienen que usar insulina, tienen que usar algún tipo de medicina, ellas pueden proveerla y tienen, esa es una gran ayuda para las personas que no dejen de asistir a ninguna sesión si esa es la causa que necesita medicina. I think that one of the benefits of having elective judges is that it gives you the opportunity, also that the people understand once they are going to vote for you, they understand the type of sensitive person that is going to be sitting in any courthouse, any court system that we have. In other countries, things don't work that way. Justice is not blind. You have only one eye, covered, and the other one is open. But I think that we have giving opportunities to a lot of great lawyers to become judges. I am very happy to support, not most of the time, but majority of my time, when I have to make a decision, I look at female, I'm biased, female lawyers and justices, because somehow there is the women haven't had the opportunity that men have to, rise to certain positions, and the competition is fierce out there. So I believe that for what you have explained to us today, there's not too much that I had to add. So I would like people to consider giving you the opportunity to be the candidate, one of the candidates in this particular year. And I'm so proud that you have given me the opportunity also to come, to my show. I don't think we had too much time left. I think, yes, we have. I have time. But anyway, anything else that you like to add?
Yes. Well, I wanted to let all of your viewers know what the process is for us to become eligible to be considered to be judges.
Okay.
I am so grateful to be on Maria Luna's show today. In order to become a civil court judge, I had to be seen by the Manhattan Democratic Screening Panel, which consisted of representatives from many bar associations, such as the Dominican Bar Association, the Jewish Lawyers Guild, the Metropolitan Black Bar Association, the Columbian lawyers, the Brehon Society, but also non-legal societies such as the Fortune Society, the NAACP, and the NYACLU. I have also been approved by the New York City Bar Association and the Women's Bar Association and Legal, which is the LGBTQ Bar Association. I have also been found highly qualified by the Manhattan Democratic Screening Panel in 2020 and 2021. And I declined the nomination for Supreme Court in 2020, 2021, and 2022. And I really hope everyone will think of me in 2023, Maria. And I hope that everyone understands that all of us in New York County are so lucky to be in a county where our Democratic Party truly values diversity, competency, and really elevates people of color, people from diverse backgrounds to the bench in a qualified manner. In New York County, we may have the most diverse bench, if not in the entire state, if not in the entire country, at least in the entire state. And people like Maria Luna, who are community activists, who are making programs like this to educate the community and to get everyone involved, really should be exalted and celebrated, because these are the trailblazers who are not only making our society good for today, but setting our young people up so that we can have a succession plan and a wonderful future here in New York County.
Thank you so much. I would like to also, congratulate you, because you have shown the passion, dedication, that this is your calling. And I hope that you continue and that you will be successful in being elected fully to the Supreme Court of New York County. But let me just say something else. It's not just me, it's just so many people that are involved in the process that are qualified. But
Yes,
you know,
yes.
and you have to be lucky also, because it's a lot of number that you have to put together. So we are closing today, and I hope that once you're elected officially to the Supreme Court, you come back to my show.
I would love that.
Tell you about, you know, that new experience. I believe that we have like one more minute. I'd like to thank Freddie Pinto, Manhattan Neighborhood Network, for giving us this opportunity. Freddie Pinto and Carla Rojas, also on the new baby, that just arrived. And the next show is going to be in September, the first Wednesday in September. Keep cool. Everything is going to be fine if we know how to participate in our street activities. Stay safe and cool. Thank you so much, Freddie. I believe that we have one more minute, or maybe we don't. But anyway, thank you so much once again. And say hello to Zenaida Mendez for me.